Hello everybody, my name is Khalid Siddiqui, and in this video I'm going to teach you guys how to use and take full advantage of a TomTom XXL 5-inch screen GPS navigation system. Now all TomTom GPS units will have different interface and different screens and icons based on the version of operating system or firmware installed in that unit. So even though I already made a previous video for TomTom XXL, I had to make another one because this is a newer version of the operating system and it's completely different. The screens and the settings and everything. The interface is different. The GUI, graphic user interface, is different. Alright, so let's see and learn. This is version 9.061, as you can see, and when you turn it on, this unit has maps for Brazil, but you could have maps for different countries in it. So I'm going to teach you on this one and how to take full advantage of this. Okay, so let's see how to use this. The first thing I'm going to do is do a complete factory restore in order to customize the GPS based on my specific needs. So I'm going to click on the center of the screen and I'm going to click on change preferences, and I will click the right arrow once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times, and here is the reset factory settings. I'm going to choose that. After choosing that, it's asking me, do you really want to do that? I will say yes. It will ask me again to confirm. I will say yes, and I will proceed. Alright, so in this screen, what I'm going to do, let me make this a little bit, change the angle a little bit so you can see better. There. Okay, so in this screen, what I need to do is change the language to the language of my choice. So I'm going to use US English. It's asking me to confirm if that's what I want, and I'll click yes, and then it goes on to choose right-handed or left-handed. I'm going to choose right-handed. That's what I am, right-handed. And then here we have kilometers and miles. Miles is used for the United Kingdom and United States, where kilometer is used for every other country in the world. This is going to be used in Brazil, so I'm going to use kilometers because that's what they use in Brazil. So I'm going to click done. You can choose time, the format you wanted to display. This is the military time style, where after 12 o'clock it changes to 13 and 14. This is the AM and PM style, which is the standard, the default. I will keep it there. And you could sync the time, but in order to do that, you have to have GPS reception outside. So I'm indoors, I cannot sync, so I'm going to click done and deal with that later. These are the languages that I can choose from. Whichever language has the word computer to the right, that means that's a computer generated voice, or TTS, text to speech. The benefit of computer generated voice is it will read the name of the streets. For example, it will tell you turn right on Broadway, where if you choose a normal voice, it will just tell you turn right and turn left. It doesn't say Broadway or First Avenue or Second or whatever road it is. Now, the problem with that is the clarity. These are human recorded voices with super clarity, but computer generated voices are not that clear because they are like computerized sound. So it's a little bit harder to understand versus the human voice which has been recorded. And then you have different languages. In these other languages, there are no computer generated voice. So let's see. Okay, so Canadian French does have computer generated voice, and let's see, the Spanish doesn't. So I'm going to choose US, and I can test the voice quality.
You have reached your destination.
So that's the quality, which is acceptable, and I'm going to click select, and as I said, it's going to be used in Brazil, so that's what I'm going to choose. No. Okay, so you could choose a brief tour. This is where you could learn even more than what I'm going to explain, but I'm going to skip that for now because I will explain everything manually or verbally. You could, okay, this is an important question. If you choose to join map share, the problem with this is that every time it's going to ask you to plug in the unit to your computer, so it's a headache. It's good to just disregard it and continue. Otherwise, it will require you to sync with your PC all the time. So if you're in the middle of traveling to another country, that will be really inconvenient to do that. So decline, continue. So you have to agree to the terms and conditions, and they're basically saying that if there are some errors in the map, we are not responsible. If you have to pay attention when you're driving and you're operating your vehicle, you know, all those things. Okay, so this is the first screen that you will get after you reset it to your specific needs. Now, in order to navigate to a place, you click on the center of the screen and then you click navigate to, and here is where you enter the address, whichever address you want to go. Here is where you can enter the zip code. This is where you can enter the street name and house number, city center, or you could choose crossing streets. Now, the crossing streets come in handy in countries where each individual address is not specified. So what you will do is you will choose two roads of an intersection crossing each other, and once you get there, you will walk to your destination or drive to your destination. If, for example, each house or each building doesn't have address, like in the United States, every building has an address, but that's not the case in a lot of countries. Some places, for example, buildings are built without permit from the city, so an address hasn't been assigned for it. Even in the US, there are certain places where you don't have an address, so you have to go by GPS coordinates and whatnot. Alright, so that's navigation by address. This is navigation by point of interest. You can click on point of interest and then choose point of interest in what city. So let's choose Brasilia. Brasilia is the capital of Brazil. So what I'm going to do is let's see the closest gas station. You can click there, a closest hotel or parking space, restaurant or whatnot. You click here and you have many other places to choose from. All these different places that you can choose from. The list goes on and on and on. We are in T, it goes all the way to Z. So that's a very, very long list. This is like navigation based on point of interest. And then you have navigation based on a point on the map, which you can choose. You could like look at the map and click on something and choose where you want to go. So let me click this. You could read those if you want to. You could slow. So for example, I could click here and go there, or in the map I see there's a park and I want to go to that park. I can click on it and it will take me there. So that's how. Okay, so let's click that. Cancel. I don't want to do that. Let's go back to navigation. Alright, so point on map, that's what that was. Now, latitude and longitude is very important because in a lot of places, even if the streets and the houses are addressed and named, they are in a different language and it's very hard for you to type. For example, I was in Italy and the road and street names were very long, very complicated, like 13 characters or more. So what I did is I asked the hotel where I was staying to give me the longitude and latitude, and that's what they did. And what you do is you just enter the latitude and the longitude. You make sure not to do any mistakes with north and south or east and west, because if you do, it will take you completely to a different place. So 180 degree difference, that is. So for example, they will give you if it's a degrees or minutes and seconds, and you have the information will be provided for you. So you have to enter that like that, and you have to enter the information based on what you will be provided. So I'm going to cancel that. Let's go to the right. So this is again if you want to navigate based on an address, and recent destination is where you have been. Since this GPS was just reset, so there is no recent destination. This was the one that I accidentally hit the point on map, and so that's where that is. So most of the time you will be using address. So you hit address and then street and name, and then you, like in Brasilia, you choose Brasilia, and then you choose where in Brasilia and the name of the street in Brasilia and all that. Okay, let's go back. Alright, so that was navigation. Now let's see the favorites. Currently there is no favorites, but you could add to your favorites, and like if you go to a place and you need to go to that place again, you have to add it to favorites. For example, let me give you an example. When I was in Germany, I was going to different family and friends' houses, and I was there for like a month. So I knew that I would come and visit them again. So in every single house that I went there, I would memorize that address and the favorites in my GPS. And when I would want to go there again, I simply hit one of the favorites, and it will navigate me to that place. And also, the same thing with your hotel room, with the airport, or anywhere that you have to go back. For example, if you rented a car from the airport, so you have to take your GPS out, go under a clear sky or good signal reception, GPS signal reception, and add that spot into your favorites. Give it a name, the airport for example, or give it a name, my hotel where I'm staying, or give it a name such as the consulate of the country you're visiting, the U.S. consulate in the country you're visiting, or if you're going from another country, the consulate of your country in the destination country, in case you have to visit. Again, anywhere that you have to, if it's a place that you'll never come back again, you don't have to memorize it. You could memorize it for future years. For example, if you go to a very important historical place, you should memorize it. So as a favorite. So if you come after 5-6 years to the same country, you could go to that place again if you wish to, or you could let a friend borrow your GPS and go to that place. So adding places to your favorites is a good idea. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space in your GPS, but it does fill up the memory, but not a whole lot. Nothing to worry about. Alright, so now let's go back. That was favorites, and help is as the name says, it's pretty obvious. You could go to phone for help, drive to help. For example, let's say your car is broken, you need to find a mechanic. So drive to help, nearest fire station, nearest repair station. Now, do you know why all this is grayed out? Because I don't have GPS signal. There is no reception. If I did have reception, all these would be highlighted. Okay, and all those things. Let's see. Again, click here. Appearance, you could change. No, that's prepare route. You could change, record the route. For example, you're going to point A to point B. You could set it already, and then you could use it later. For example, plan your route ahead of time is basically what that is. Browse the map. We did that before to see where you are. Map correction, again, you don't want to mess with this, because if you do that, you have to have a computer with you when you're traveling, because every correction you make, it has to transmit to TomTom servers. So you keep on having to plug in your GPS to your computer. The GPS could have problems. Let me assure you, let me inform you of the problems if you update your GPS. A lot of problems can happen if you, for no reason, plug in your GPS to your computer and try to update, because sometimes updates will not go through, and it could the download could be interrupted, or the update process could be interrupted, and then you could have a GPS that's completely unfunctional or non-functional, in the middle of nowhere in another country. So it's good to don't do any kind of surgery, or I should say software surgery with your GPS when you're traveling. Even if you're not traveling, there's an old saying, they say if it's not broken, don't fix it. So if the GPS is working perfectly, there's no need for you to plug it in and try to. Yes, of course you need to get the updates from the maps, but not the firmware. The firmware update, it causes problems, not the maps. Alright, so let's see. TomTom services, these are things that you have to pay for. It's not free, so you don't have to worry about that right now. It's like live traffic update information and whatnot, things that you have to pay for. Or I should say things that have subscriptions. That's what this is for. Okay, itinerary and planning. This is something that you could click and create. Yeah, let's do that. See, so there you go. You could click waypoints, you could make your route, and then choose where you want to basically where do you want to stop on your way to your destination, like rest areas and all that. So those are the things that you need to know. Alright, okay, let's go to the third one. Okay, now we will go to change preferences. Change preferences, night colors and day colors. Night colors is if you are traveling at night and the screen is way too bright for your eyes, and it's basically distracting you from safe driving. Then you could choose night colors, and that's night color. So I'm for this video I'm gonna stick with the day colors because I don't want it to go dark on me. All right. Okay, so now we know night color and day color. Show points of interest on the map. So which points of interest you want to show on the map? You could choose all of them, but that will completely clutter the map. It will make it so populated, so crowded that you cannot even see the roads. That's why you should choose only the ones that are important for you. By default, they are showing airports, ferry terminals, gas stations, railway stations, and whichever one is checked is the default. So let's see. Yeah, those are the only ones by default. You could choose, if you're a gambler, for example, you could choose casinos as point of interest. So all casinos will show, or every car repair garage and rental facility and all that. So the more you show, the more crowded the map will be. Watch, let me show you. Watch. See these gas stations? See how they fill up the screen? So basically you don't have enough space in your screen to have it show all points of interest. If I choose all points of interest, all these little icons like the gas station will be filled up everywhere, and I'm not going to be able to see the roads. That's why it's wise to only show those points of interest that you are really basically it's important to you, that you're really interested to it. Okay, safety preferences. Show only essential menu options while driving. That's a safety feature. Suggest driving brakes. That's a safety feature. Show safety reminders. Now, this is gonna be annoying because this will tell you if you're if you've been driving too long and you take a rest, and all those reminders. Warn when near places of worship or school. This is good. It will warn you if you are near a school or places where you need to slow down. Warn when driving faster than allowed. I should never be checking this, because if I check this box, this thing will be beeping off the hook, because I'm always a mile or two above speed limit, and this will warn me. Warn when driving faster than set speed. You could do that. Warn me not to leave the device in the car. This is like for theft, anti-theft, to protect it from being stolen. Now, let me tell you something. Even though in the United States GPSs are cheap, but other countries are still pretty expensive, so it's a hot item for thieves to steal. So make sure you don't leave it in visible area. Either hide it under the chair or take it with you. Okay, so this is important. In some countries you're driving to the left. It's only few countries, I believe. It's England, Australia, India, Pakistan, and other British colonies. and Commonwealth countries where you drive on the left side. Not very many places, but yeah, a handful of places you're driving on the left. So that's why it's telling you to warn me if you, for example, if you go to England and you're used to driving in America, it will warn you to drive on the left side because in America you're driving on the right side. Okay. So this, turn off map display. It's good to choose never. So that was the safety preferences. Guided tour, you could choose if you want guided tour. It's a whole another can of worms to deal with, like a lot of things. Okay, so let's go back. Turn off sound, you could turn it off if you wanted to. Volume preferences, this is good to have link volume to car speed. This is very good. This is something Garmin should put in their GPSs. They don't. If you're going faster, the volume goes louder, and if you're slowing down, volume will slow down, would go lower because it knows that you don't need to hear it very loud.
You have reached your destination.
Like that. So that's the current volume. Let's see. Okay, manage favorites. You can delete favorites, add favorites, and change the address on a favorite. For example, if you want to save Uncle Sam's address, well, I said Uncle Sam because that, let's say Uncle Joey. If you have Uncle Joey's address here and you want to change it, let's say Uncle Joey moved to a different address, so you can manage and change that. Change home location, you can put your home location or change it. Change voice, you could choose different voices like what we did before. Manage points of interest, you could manage that. That's simple. Change your car symbol. Right now it's an arrow, but you could change it to different things. You could choose a car, you could choose a truck, an SUV, but arrow is the default. Okay. Turn on 2D display, two-dimensional display. That 3D is much better. Hide lane image, that's not a good idea. Let it display. Switch map, if you have multiple maps installed, you could click here and switch to a different map. Like, let's say you have Brazil and United States, you could switch back to US by clicking here. You click on switch map and then switch map and go from there. Okay, let's go back to that place. Change map color. It's self-explanatory. I don't need to explain that to you. Change language. Now there are three different types of language changes. One is voice language, one is text language, one is menu language, one is keyboard language. So all of those are managed there. Okay. It's not just like you change the voice language, it's not the end of, you're not done. You have to change the keyboard language as well. If you're going to Russia, for example, all the addresses are in Cyrillic alphabet, so you have to change the keyboard to Russian. Same thing if you go to a country where the alphabet is in Greek, like the alphabet's written in Greek, so you have to change it to Greek keyboard, Alright. These are menus that you can adjust. Status bar preferences. What do you want on the status bar? Let me show you what status bar is. This is the status bar. You could change what you want it to show here when you're going to that place. Change status bar preferences right there. Street name preferences, you could ask it to speak aloud the street name or not, all those things. Planning preferences, this is important. Let's see the tour. Fastest route, recommended, and get to destination quickly. So they're different. There. You can read those. Alright. Okay. So planning preferences. Ask me every time I plan. Always plan fastest route. Okay. Ask me if the traffic situation changes and we discover a significantly faster route. Ask me if you want that route or not. So these are, it's self-explanatory, so you need to read it and choose all of those accordingly. Okay, let's go here. Brightness, you could change the brightness, you could change owner name, you could put your owner name. Set units, miles, kilometers, inches, centimeters, pounds, kilograms, and whatnot. If you're right-handed or left-handed, you change it there. Keyboard preferences, okay. Set clock, battery, saving preferences, show compass, like that's shows you which way is north and south and whatnot. Version information, it shows you what version you have. Okay, let's go back to this. Factory reset, which we did before. Okay, so basically I think we covered everything. The volume level here, you click.
You have reached your destination.
That shows you the volume level, and then you could change it like
You
this.
have reached your destination.
Like that, you could change it. So it was at 70, I'll leave it there. And then you could see the signal, satellite signal, by clicking here. Currently I'm indoors, so there's only one satellite that could be that is visible through the window. Usually there are much more than one satellites. So yeah, basically that's how you use it, and that's all. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or anything, you can message me under this video and I will be sure to reply to you. Have a great day.